Welcome to the Lead Pedal Podcast with your host, Bruce Outridge, where he talks all things trucking. Now let's get rolling.
Hello, welcome to Lead Pedal Podcast. I'm your host, Bruce Outridge. This is episode number 1035, and today we're going to talk about working with family. Yes, that can be something that's a challenge for a lot of people, but we've got some families that we heard at the PMTC conference, and it's going to blow your mind on some of the stuff they can do. So stay tuned, and we'll get right to it. Hey folks, Bison Transport is looking for owner-operators, and if that is you, they want to talk to you. Here's what they can offer you as an independent owner-operator. Their goal is to help you grow and maximize your profits. You need a strategy to increase revenue while minimizing operational expenses. Bison's exclusive owner-operator program provides you with the benefits of a large fleet while running your independent operation. Look at things like their strong fuel discount. Bison has a dedicated fuel team who negotiate discounts for our owner-operators by working with our preferred suppliers. By leveraging their fleet of over 2,000 trucks, they have the buying power to ensure they receive one of the strongest fuel discounts in the business. Hey, how about free fuel advice? That's right. Bison offers valuable trip-based fuel advice for you via satellite message to owner-operators free of charge. An owner-operator who takes advantage of this information can save up to $3,000 a year. And the best thing of all, Bison has new rates. That's right, Bison has increased the rates for long-haul cross-border owner-operators. This includes a U.S. premium increase of 2 cents a U.S. mile, and that's not all. Bison has an additional premium for owner-operators who hold a valid Fast Card. Where can you find out more? Well, go to Bison Transport, and the best place to start is at fuelyourjourney.ca. Oh, by the way, tell them that the Lead Pedal Podcast sent you. All right, so we are at the recent PMTC conference at the end of June. Great conference for private fleets. And one of the things they did is they had a presentation on working with family. Mike McCarron, Matt Richardson, James, I believe he is from Giant Tiger, all have worked with family before and have moved up the ranks. And how do you do that successfully? And there's a lot of us that want to work with family, and it doesn't always work. And there's a lot of rules you have to put in. It was very good hearing some of the things they've talked about, some of the things they thought about to make sure that, and they're all working very successful operations. So let's find out in this presentation exactly. They're going to talk a little bit about working with family, some of the things that they've put into place to make sure. This is not the whole presentation, but this is just a snippet of it. The part working with family. If you're thinking of working with if your parents own a company and you're thinking of working with them, or the other way around, you've got kids and you're trying to get them into the company, this is going to be an important episode for you. This is really great for owner-operators who are thinking of bringing their family into the fold. You know, we often start them off washing trucks and then we move them into the fold. And that's how that happens. So this is going to be a great opportunity for owner-operators to get some information on working with family. So let's get to it. Thanks to PMTC for having us out. We really appreciate it. Hey drivers, are you getting tired of trying to update that old PDF paper resume that you have? You want to apply to different companies. Maybe you want to show off some of the stuff you've had, like the trucks you've driven or pictures or whatever. You know what? You can't do that on a resume anymore, but you can do that at Driver Verified. Driver Verified is a platform that allows you to create your own unique profile and share your expertise easily with potential employers, insurance companies, anybody that you wish. This thing is so slick. You'll be able to update it. It's free to try. And you know what? Now you've got something that can be updated. You don't have to go back and wonder, where did you put that paper copy? The cool thing is companies can get this as well. And you know what? One of the best ways to find new employment and find things that are really cool for you is by a company searching you out as opposed to you searching out a company. So why not try Driver Verified today? All you got to do is go to driververified.com and give it a try. It's free to try. You can create a free profile and you can even get a free report. And by the way, if you were talking to the team over at Driver Verified, make sure you tell them that the Lead Pedal Podcast sent you. All right, everybody. Talk to you soon. See you on the road.
In this seminar, Mike Zellick will moderate a panel of 3 industry leaders from different generations to gain their insights on the future of our industry, as well as their past successes and failures. Mike Zellick has been working in transportation for over 10 years. He has worked in logistics, dispatch, recruiting, before settling into his role as Vice President of Human Resources with the Wellington Group of Companies. Mike has been named the National Recruiter of the Year at the National Recruiting and Retention Symposium in 2021 and has led Wellington to 4 straight years of being named one of the best fleets to drive for. Mike has presented at many industry events and currently volunteers on several transportation-related committees. Please join me in welcoming Mike, who will introduce you to our 3 panelists.
Test. We're good.
Everyone in the back, hear me okay? Beautiful. Okay, thanks for that introduction, appreciate it. We got the 2:45 time slot, so based on the sleep fatigue scale, everyone should be pretty alert, very coordinated, and reflexes should be top notch. I've got 4 main goals here as moderator. Number 1, avoid repetition. Number 2, ask thought-provoking questions. Number 3, don't make any stupid jokes. And number 4, avoid repetition.
That's a stupid joke.
This thing on?
That's a stupid joke.
I guess strike 1 and 2. My 4th goal is for people in the audience not to be looking at their phone every couple minutes. I know everyone's busy, but hopefully we can keep you entertained, engaged, and have you guys actually learned something. Very proud to introduce our panelists up here. So to my immediate right here, we've got Matt Richardson. He's the Vice President at KRTS. He has officially been with the company for 11 years, but in reality, he's been helping out since he was just a boy. He said it's been since the age of 5, but don't go calling it child labor. I mean, it was child labor, but his dad said, don't call it that. Next to him, we've got James Johnstone from the Giant Tiger. I don't know James as well as the other 2 gentlemen here, so my intro is going to be more Tiger related. James was the Supply Chain Executive of the Year. That's great! Oh, wrong Tiger. If transportation was like the PGA Tour, James would be the Tiger Woods, and to be clear, that's based on his ability, not on his extracurriculars. Next to him, we've got Mike McCarron. He's the president of Right Route Supply Chain Solutions and a partner at Left Lane Associates. What's great with Mike, aside from an awesome name, is he's not afraid to tell it like it is. Mike, have your words ever gotten you into trouble?
Daily.
You know what? I bet you it's got you out of trouble as well, though. Cool. So yeah, I'm actually going to try and have thought-provoking questions, so let's get going. Gentlemen, how important is respect to employees? No, I'm kidding. That's a yes, obviously very good. The real one, James, what do you think of the reputation of the transport industry is like to the average person, and has it gotten better or worse over the last few years?
Yeah, thanks a lot, Mike. That's a great question because you have to take a grain of salt that we really understand the industry a lot better than folks from the outside do. And so the average person who has very little interaction with transportation, it's not a very positive thing. It's an industry that's always been seen as rough and gruff. It's dangerous, there's long hours, there's hard work, there's accidents. And unfortunately, the hard work that those of us in the industry do to promote the positives of our industry, the safety, the tremendous safety records of those in the room, and some which will be honored today, those things don't make national news, those things don't make headlines. Unfortunately, the tragedies do. And by and large, the average person just sees the tragedies.
Awesome. Thanks, James. Now, Matt, how can we change this to more positive, and what's going to drive this change? What would you say is the biggest hindrance to that right now?
Well, I think during COVID, the professional drivers definitely got brought up to a level that we hadn't seen in a long time. But unfortunately, like James said, the general public still wants to just see the tragedies. And the headlines of the newspapers or in the news are always truck driver this or truck driver that. when in all reality, those headlines come out before the facts are even established. The recent tragedy in Manitoba is a great example of that. Of the first headlines that came out were truck driver hits bus full of seniors, which yes, it is a tragedy, but some of the facts that have started to come out since that, it's not on the truck driver, but that's the first thing that hits the press.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I totally agree with that. And even just for everyone in this room, like if you were to close your eyes and try to envision what I'm about to say, actually, let's do it. Close your eyes. I want you to just think of a truck driver and what image comes to mind. I mean, I like to think you're thinking of the four gentlemen that were just up here receiving their Hall of Fame inductions, but I know that's not what I think of right away, and I've been working with them very closely for 10 plus years. It's, you know, well, truth be told, two things come to mind. I either picture a big fat white guy smoking a cigarette and drinking a coffee, or I picture an Indian guy with a curly mustache and a headset in. And I mean, that does represent a lot of our industry, but there's so much more than that, but it's tough to get that image out of your mind right away. Moving on to Mike, you've been in the industry probably the longest of anyone here. What are some of the biggest changes you've noticed when it comes to leadership from when you started your career until now?
Well, first of all, I'm honored to be representing the past in this panel. Past, the future, the present, I'm the past. So, wow, there's a lot of change, a lot of good ones. I think the first thing that I noticed today, because I am still working, is the power is with the people today. You know, the bottom line is that, you know, in the old days, it was do as I say, not as I do, and that just doesn't cut anymore. You know, there's not a business out there that doesn't need workers, and I think workers have changed. And, you know, I know with our business today, I have one vote. Where back when I had MSM Transportation, it was Mike's Way or the Highway, and that just doesn't cut anymore. I think the workforce is far more diverse today. When I started the business in 1989, it was a white, male-dominated business. Now we have ethnics, we have women, we have handicapped people. And I think that leadership is much more difficult when you have to respect the cultures, the people, the traditions. I think it's a far more transparent workforce today. You know, the new world today, visibility is a key, and you know, you just can't hide your sins anymore. It's important to be transparent. It's important to have ethics and integrity, and there's just no hiding anymore. It's really made work, I think, a better place, a safer place. And I think the last thing is that the workplace is safer now. The jokes are gone, the Christmas gift exchanges are gone. I remember when I started this business, when I was a sales rep, there was actually trucking companies, the sales reps gave out calendars with naked women on them. And that just shows you how far we've come. So, you know, it's a different leadership style for sure, but I think the workforce is a safer place now, it's a more diverse place, and I think it's important that as a leader, you understand that the people have a very important say in the room. It's got to be respected.
That's great. And my HR filter actually stopped me from saying a bunch of the jokes that came to mind after the naked calendar remark. James, is there a leadership style that you encourage your leaders to emulate, and do you offer them any sort of training to help them get there?
I don't think there's any one style I would choose. I would push someone to emulate. I think, you know, we all have you know, leadership books that we've read, or we all have popular leaders in our mind, whether it's, you know, the Elon Musks of the world, or the Jeff Bezos of the world, or, you know, whomever your favorite politician might be. But what really worked for them and their team isn't necessarily going to work for you and your team. I encourage my people to, you know, do the right thing. Pick a style that works for them and with their skill set. You know, whether that's, you know, having empathy, understanding the needs of the business, their customer, both internal and external. And, you know, one thing I preach all the time is do the things you say you're going to do. Right? And in our industry especially, it's been very tough to have integrity, and, you know, as long as you're doing the right thing and following through with your commitments, you know, you can't go wrong from a leadership perspective.
Thanks, James. What type of leadership style would you say that you have, or if you were to compare your leadership style to an animal, what kind of animal would it be?
Well, so, you know, you're probably thinking that I'm contractually obligated to say it would be a tiger.
Absolutely.
I'm not. So, you know, after thinking about that, I would have to say a beaver. Okay, a beaver is very industrious. They're ambitious. They're hardworking. and more often than not, they have to chew their way through a few trees to solve some of their problems.
Awesome answer. They're also Canadian, and you could probably make some sort of joke about them not giving a damn.
There you go.
Next area that we're going to get into is based on the family dynamic. So Matt, you've been with KRTS since about the age of 5. You've put a lot of time there. For those in the audience who don't know, what does KRTS even stand for?
Kim Richardson, Transportation Specialist.
Huh. Now, what are the odds you got a job at a place that has the same last name as you? That's crazy.
Straight luck.
Huh, weird. When you did get promoted to VP in 2021, do you think people respected you more or less based on your family relation?
Yeah, internally within our team, I don't think it was much of an issue what my age at the time or how long I had been there. Most people knew the work that had gone into it for me to get there. And just a little background on that for the audience. It was basically every year when I came back from university, I learned a different part of the business. So one summer I came back, it was in sales, one summer scheduling and dispatch, one summer spent with the instructors. And then when I was done university and going to be getting into working full time, I had to go through all of the designations and the programs that KRTS offers before I was able to sell them. And most of our team was aware of what was going on with that. So I don't think the internal respect thing was much of an issue at all. Externally, I'd be naive to think that my last name doesn't help or hasn't helped in my professional development, but the way I look at it is, my last name might get me in a door somewhere, but it's fully my responsibility to get a seat at the table and then keep it once I have a seat.
Yeah, I think that's very accurate. It's kind of like when you're, if you have a parent that coaches your hockey team, did your dad ever coach you in any sports?
Yeah.
And was he easier on you or harder on you than the other kids?
No, definitely the hardest on me over anybody else.
Yeah. Awesome, thanks. Okay, Mike, I know your family's also involved in your business. What does your son bring to the business that you do not? And was he the first choice for someone for you to work with, or were you looking externally at one point?
So, where my situation is a little bit different is that the business that my son runs for us was a startup. So that's a little bit different. So, and the reason that we did actually consider other people, in fact, with this new startup that we invested in, we realized the first hire was so important. And I remember talking to Ross Reimer, I thought that we had about 500 applications for the job. I said, I'm not doing this. There's no way I'm doing this. So we went to Ross Reimer. And as I was describing what we wanted, I described my son. And so he was a professional hockey player. He got COVIDed out. He was living in the house, so we got talking about it. And he agreed to take that step. And I think the main reason I hired him was that I really believe that in the business he's in, which is third-party freight brokering, experience is not really important. And the reason we hired him was because I knew that he had the integrity and the work ethic to make it happen, that we could build a business around him. So, and that I really value that, because I think that a business like that, in the trucking business, it is very teachable. And but without those core skills, especially with the first hire, it's very hard to build your brand. So it was very strategic. He brought that generational leadership. He's a bit of he was kind of a guinea pig for this model that I developed, which was no experience. And I think it brought me to the table as well, because if someone else was running that business, I would not be nearly as passionate about it. So it's kind of reinvigorated me. I was getting a little sick of the investment banking side. I was working too long. So this has reinvigorated me. So by actually having my son on board, it actually brought me as well.
Yeah. Now, what are some of the risks involved in getting into business with family?
That's a great question. His sister is number one. We'll talk about that one later. But I think the risk is if you cut them deals. So he started at $60,000 like everyone else. And a lot of us, I was involved in junior hockey, and he played for me. And he's the right type of kid where, for example, my daughters would have been entitled, and he really, he really respected the fact that his dad was there. He respected the fact that, he was just another employee. And I think the biggest thing is just not cutting deals. Don't give him a big title, make him earn their stripes. And he also didn't report directly to me, which is something that was very important.
Awesome. Thanks, Mike. Matt, back to you. So you work very closely with your dad at work. Can you talk about a time when you guys had a major disagreement and how did that kind of play out?
It might be hard to believe, but there really hasn't been any major disagreements. I think that partly comes from the mutual respect and how things are handled when there are issues. It's not come flying in the office door and say, why have you done that, or why did you make that decision? It's more, talk me through this decision you made and why you thought it was best. And if there's not an agreement to it, then the other side comes and, this is maybe how I would have looked at it, or this is maybe how you should have looked at it. I think that comes with the mutual respect, and it makes for a much less volatile work environment, especially between a family or father-son, mother-daughter, whatever the case may be. We've had more heated arguments about where we're going fishing, or what we're watching on what football game we're watching than we have over anything work-related.
Now it's easy to say that it's easy to separate the work from the home life. How has it been for the Richardson family?
Fine. It was understood from day one that it was, mom and dad at home, and anytime it was at the office or in work scenarios, it was Kim and Lisa. So there was never any crossover that way.
Awesome. Thanks, Matt. James, have you come across any nepotism in your career at different places that you've worked?
Yeah, transportation in general is, I think, whether it's nepotism or cronyism, it does exist throughout the industry. Not that the stories of these gentlemen are shared in nepotism, but they're great examples of how to enter your family into the business without there being entitlement, or going to dad or mom to override decisions, which will really kill the rest of the culture of the organization. So hats off to both of these families for doing that. But yeah, I have seen a lot of that in our industry. It certainly kills the culture. It kills the will to push the envelope and to do better within a business if there's a protected class or two sets of rules.
Yeah, I know. I worked at a place once where the nepotism was pretty rampant, and it is a little deflating when you see one of the owner's kids with the corner window office or driving a nice car. One of the relatives was running the IT department. I don't even think they knew how to spell IT. It was just a disaster out there. All right, so next one we're kind of going on to career ups and downs. So we'll start with Matt. You've had lots of successes at KRTS. Can you tell me about a failure that you've had? And what happened? Why did you fail? And what should you have done differently?
There's been lots of failures. I'm a firm believer that if you're not failing, you're not stepping out of the box or trying enough things. One that comes to mind, and it was a breakaway from our SOPs. We have a pretty set career path at KRTS for our instructors. We had a trainer that we hired who was younger than what most trainers are. He was 30, but already had 12 years experience, had been licensed with us, was what we consider a real blue chipper. We provide all of our trainers with train the trainer programs, but after they've been with us for a year, they go through their NAPME program and get their certified driver trainer designation. This individual was saying a lot of the right things, and we thought we had a long-term team member. I decided to put him through the program about 8 months in ahead of the year, because we had one coming up. 2 months after he got the designation, he left the company, and that designation definitely would have helped him get the position he did, where he did. You can't blame him for leaving, but you can blame me for not following the SOPs.
Hey, folks, you ready to drag on down the track? That's right. You want to join us for the St. Thomas Dragways Big Rig Truck Nationals happening August 18th, 19th, 2023. This thing is going to have drag racing, big rigs, massive show and shine vendors, displays. Man, you want to make sure you are there. And of course, they support a great cause, Trucking for a Cure. So where can you find out more? Go to stthomasdragway.ca. And of course, just check out the Lead Pedal podcast, and we've got it there for you as well. See you at the Drags, August 18th, 19th, 2023, St. Thomas Dragway Big Rig Truck Nationals. You don't want to miss it. All right, so there was a good information. Hope that helped you. I know that I've thought a lot of times about bringing my family into the business, and it can be a very tricky thing. And what happens down the road, and it's hard to do that successfully. So for those of you that are doing it successfully, kudos to you. We really enjoy that. Hope you got some good information if you're thinking about doing that. And we'll see you on the other side. Hey, follow us on our social. We're on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and you can find us on TikTok and LinkedIn. And of course, you know what? You're wondering now, who this podcast is for. We talk a lot about trucking, but really it's for those new drivers who are just looking to get their careers going, those owner-operators who are looking to improve their business, and the rest of us who just love trucking and want to be part of it. And that is the three groups that we kind of focus on for the Lead Pedal podcast, and we appreciate you listening to us. Hey, join us. We got tons of episodes, and we really love to see you on the trail. See you at a truck show, my friends. Bye for now.
This has been another episode of the Lead Pedal Podcast. For more information or to subscribe to the podcast, visit theleadpedalpodcast.com and be sure to follow the podcast on Facebook and Twitter.